So, hello together. Hallo Mani, schön, dass du da bist.
Hi René. Hi everyone.
That was German. So, Mani, I'm really excited, and maybe I'm actually too excited that you're here because I totally messed up the YouTube stuff and had to create a new stream. So everything that could went sideways already did. So now everything works well, and I'm really excited to see you here. Mani is the genius behind the self-healing AI support for Robot Framework that was presented on RoboCon. And he has now pulling a new white rabbit out of his head, the Robot Framework MCP server. So an AI assistant for Robot Framework, which you can use to write your test cases, and not just by inventing stuff from the memory of the AI, but now the AI has really the possibility to interact with the test object, communicate with Robot Framework, gather information, and I'm seriously impressed. I tried it out. It's pretty easy, but Mani will show you everything and explain you everything about that. So that's the topic of today. Mani, do you want to introduce yourself? Who are you? What are you doing? Why are you in Robot? And yeah.
Yeah, sure. Thanks a lot, René. Hi, my name is Manikasa. As you can see in the title, I'm working at Schenker AG. That's a global freight forwarder, and I work there as a QA engineer. Now, beside that, I'm also a member of the Robot Framework Foundation board. Yeah, so we try to make sure that Robot Framework is maintained now and in the future. But I'm also an open source developer. And recently I looked a bit more into AI stuff, as René mentioned, the self-healing. And I also looked into MCP servers. Because one thing that always bugged me with AI usage and Robot Framework is the hallucination. Yeah, so you can ask an LLM to generate some Robot Framework test suites, but they don't really work that often. Yeah, this is a gap I wanted to close with the MCP server. So in the session today, I will take you through the MCP server's features. So we will look at how it's installed, how it's used, and run a few examples. I also have a few slides in the beginning, and I'm happy to answer questions if I'm able to. So feel free to just send your questions to the YouTube comments, right? Or is there another way, René?
Yeah. So typically, just in YouTube, we already have multiple people there. For example, this dude here sent already the greetings, and I can you can also send questions in the YouTube chat. I think I will figure out what is a question and what is a comment. And even if your comment is good enough to show it on screen, I can show it and discuss with Mani about that. So you can ask just questions there. I can pull them in and show them. We can discuss them. I think we will have a little bit back and forth in the beginning, and you will show what you have prepared and so on. We also have Daniel in the chat already. So Daniel, say hello.
Hello.
And now I'm parking Daniel again. So every time I want to pull up Daniel out of the head, I can do that now. However, so Daniel can also join us the discussion. He had also made some experience with robot code and AI, and so we will have a little bit discussion afterwards. And what is also possible, you can also maybe join later. So in the announcement channel, I will share a link. So once we are done with the more or less official part, you then can also join here the discussion, and you can join our live stream as a person as well. One thing just before I would like to share with you the stuff that you see right now. You may see again in a way more detailed form at RoboCon in Helsinki, because Mani and Daniel has prepared a workshop So a full day workshop with all this AI stuff and how to actually use it, how to maybe integrate your own libraries in RF-MCP and so on. And Mani also has a talk there, Daniel as well. So go to robocon.io, check out the tickets. At the moment, the program is not yet announced, so that was just a small spoiler right now. The good thing is, until the program is released, which will be done next week or so, the blind ticket booking is still open. So for one more week, you get cheaper prices once we have the program released. We will increase the prices, but I still hope to see a lot of you. Okay, Mani, I think you're ready.
Yeah, sure. Ready when you are.
I'm ready. Then we can start with the screen share.
All right.
And you can give us a short overview. I will just interject once I have any questions or so. Or
Yeah, sure. Just a question. Can I share links somehow with the audience? I think last time we had some trouble on YouTube in the comments section. So, but does it work now? Mm-hmm. All right. Good, good. Okay, then let's quickly start with a few slides and then we can have a look at some demos as well. So, topic for today. Yeah, of course, this is silly. Yeah, sure, thank you. Okay, so from natural language to robot framework tests. So today is a demo of the robot framework MCP server. Let's quickly recap about AI usage and robot framework. I think all of us have somehow used a large language model and asked it to generate some robot framework code. Yeah. So you could, for example, as I ask here on the left-hand side, to generate the test cases for a public website, which is unfortunately very well known by the large language models. So it will then give you some test suite as a returned output. And this test suite might even work, because this page is so popular, so it might happen. But what happens if you ask it to run the tests on your local host, port 3000? Do you really have trust in the things that the large language model generates here? Uh, well, yeah, you shouldn't, because by default, it does not have any connection to the real world, to the outside world. So what it will do is it will hallucinate a lot, and this will not help you. So I was searching for a way to get from a natural language description, like you see here on the left-hand side, to a real robot framework test suite, which is actually working. And I investigated and I found a way that I will now explain. What happened in the last years with AI and LLMs is that they were extendable by tools. Yeah, so tools can be any kind of function that you can write, for example, in Python code or in JavaScript. And those functions can be called. And those functions allow us to connect the large language model to the real world, so to say. Yeah, so we could connect it to a database, we could connect it to a weather service or to a web browser like Playwright or something. Yeah, and it can interact with those objects via the tools. So this was great because now we can get something from the application state actually into the large language model. But the challenge with tools is that you had to write them specifically for an agent. Yeah. So when you, I don't know, when you use like Pydantic AI as an agent framework, you can write a tool for Pydantic AI, but then it's of course only coded for this specific framework. And this is where the MCP server now is quite nice. So MCP, as a lot of you might know, stands for Model Context Protocol. It's an open standard to provide tools to AI agents. So it's called like the USB standard for AI tools. So what will an MCP server allow you to do is to develop some tools that an LLM or an agent should use, develop them inside or for an MCP server, and later you can connect this MCP server easily to any AI agent that supports MCP. Yeah, and when I talk about AI agent, I mean tools like Claude Code, like GitHub Copilot, like Cursor, or a lot of other tools, because they are now an endless list of coding agents. Now you can connect the MCP server to this agent, and then the agent can freely execute tools from there and also combine tools of multiple MCP servers together. So this is all possible with the MCP server. Now to the robot MCP, or maybe one quick thing before. In GitHub Copilot, if you use it, you also have an MCP support. Yeah, so if you by any chance have a GitHub Copilot account, a subscription, I'm not sure, maybe it does even work with the free version, I'm not sure. You can enable MCP support and then easily use an MCP server in VS Code with the GitHub Copilot chat extension, which I will also use during this session. Now about, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So with, for example, with the Claude desktop client, I have at least tested it. You can also connect MCP servers. You can use Claude Code, which is the command line tool, the coding agent. You can also connect MCP servers there. I'm just not sure how it is with the web version, because my robot MCP requires some specific Python environment, and I'm not sure how this would
they
work.
have to, the MCP has to be running somewhere, and you cannot expose it to the internet. So
Exactly.
you shouldn't, at least.
No, maybe not.
maybe better not. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. But yeah, you can connect it to a lot of different tools. I've heard from community members that they also used it with different tools, so I've good feeling that that it works. So about the MCP quickly. So the goal, as I mentioned, was to create test suites from natural language without any hallucination. And I wanted to have like a stepwise execution of any commands. Yeah. So I wanted to make sure that each command which is suggested by the MCP server, or each keyword, to better say, that each keyword really works before it will be added to some test suite, which is returned by the MCP. To do that, I added several tools to the MCP server. This is not a full list. Yeah, there are a few more, unfortunately. I still hope to reduce them, but I think the most important tools are listed here on the right-hand side. So to quickly go through them, so there is a tool to analyze the scenario. So this will check out from the scenario description, is this like a web application test? Is this some HTTP web service test? Is this some mobile test with Appium? So this is what analyze scenario will do. It will look for some keywords and also use some LLM support to figure out the scenario. Then after that, there's some recommendation of libraries. So for example, for a web scenario, it would recommend a browser library and Selenium library. Yeah. If you explicitly ask for Selenium, it will also give you Selenium as a library for execution, but by default, it will use browser. Then some keywords for some tools for keyword search, for documentation search, which is pretty important for the MCP, because the LLM might not know robot framework that well, or might not know the keywords that well. So it's important that the agent can autonomously search for documentation for the keywords. Then also the application state needs to be sent back to the MCP server. What I mean with application state is, for example, the DOM tree of a web page, or the latest response status, or an UI tree of a desktop application. Yeah, so that the MCP can get some idea what's currently going on in the application. Then there's tools to execute single steps in a real robot framework context, and then some final tools to build a test suite out of the executed steps, and also run the test suite with a dry run or real run. So this is like the tool set that the MCP has available.
Is this this tool set, is it somehow standardized, or can you basically, or are you basically prompting to the MCP or to the AI, hey, by the way, you could gather the page source by this command, and you could do the following things with these tools? Or what is the how is the method? How do you teach the AI which tools to use?
Well, it's important to have a good documentation, like a doc string for each tool or function here. Yeah, so I need to describe what this tool actually does. I need to describe what arguments it takes and also what type of arguments those are. So this is very helpful. So this will heavily affect how good the agent can find and call the tools. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's all Python functions with some good doc strings that can then be identified by the agent. Yeah. Okay, good. So let's now dive into the usage and the installation. So I did not put the URL here, but I will share the GitHub URL later. In general, it's a PyPy package, so you can install it via pip install RF-MCP. This is like a reduced or slim package which only contains the MCP server and its dependencies. If you check on the repo side, you will see several extra dependencies that you can install. For example, extra dependencies for web testing, which will install like the web libraries, or for requests library, or for Appium. Yeah, so those are optional packages. You can also install everything with RF-MCP all, and then you will have a bigger Python environment afterwards. Yeah.
I have questions.
Yeah, sure. Oh no.
So no ways. So if I just do the pip install MCP and I have, for example, browser library or Selenium library already on my computer, then I don't need anything extra, or do I still need to install basically the Selenium integration package or something like this?
No, nothing like that. It's
okay, so if I do
library.
MCP all, I just get all these libraries that you are supporting. Okay, so you probably don't want to do that. You want to know which libraries you are using yourself, and then you just want to have the MCP functionality on top, right?
Yeah, exactly. The idea was, okay, if I was a newbie and does not know much about any libraries, what to use, I can install this all package, and then the MCP will figure out like the right library for me. That was the idea. If it works in practice, I'm not sure. Yeah, but this is why I first had this bigger package with everything. Yeah?
Okay, so scenario: I am totally new to Robot Framework. I have no clue how to actually test the web page. I just install MCP all and say, okay, can you please go to that web page and scan it for whatever stuff, and it will check then, okay, what libraries do I have? Selenium browser, which one is better? Oh, okay, then I take browser. Something like this, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so that's how it's supposed to be. Yeah. All right. So this is the installation on the left-hand side. When the MCP server is started later by VSCode, you will see this kind of picture in the terminal. Yeah, so this will show that the MCP server is now running. And on the right-hand side, you can see some example configuration for VSCode, how to add an MCP server. Yeah, so for VSCode, it's in a specific file in your project. It's .vscode/mcp.json. And there you can add this configuration to start the MCP server. I'm using UV here as an environment management tool. You can also put the pure Python call in here to start the MCP. Yeah? So you could also do like a Python -m robot MCP server. It's just important that the MCP server runs in the same Python environment as your test project is running. Yeah. So if you have a virtual environment for your testing project, it's important that the MCP server is installed into the same virtual environment and it's running from there, because it will actually use the libraries and everything from there. So that's the setup. I can also show it in a second in VSCode. And now we will have a look at a few use cases of the MCP. And if you have any other ideas, I'm happy to hear them and try them out. So the first one will be the standard case, creating a test suite from natural language. Yeah, so I will use a prompt and ask it to generate some test cases for me. The prompt will look like that. Rene, you want to ask something? I see it popping up in the picture.
All good. Continue. Good. The question is, are you up for a challenge?
Oh, okay. Maybe.
Or do you want to have your prepared, faked source demo thing, which is not actually a web page.
Let me have this one small success, and then we can we can look at
no,
your.
it's not a hard one. It
Oh,
would
no.
be a normal one, but okay.
Okay. No, we can definitely do that later. So I'm using here my fake example because I showed it earlier. A lot of LLMs already knows the web page, but I used it for my example in the beginning when it was not that well known. So yeah. So this is the prompt we will be using to the or sending to the agent. Yeah, I'm asking it to use Robot MCP to create a test suite and execute a few steps stepwise. So it will open a demo page from Source Labs. Source demo should log in. As it's a shopping page, it should add some items to the basket, check if those were added successfully, and then complete and then close the browser. I added also some custom instructions here, like use Firefox or use Selenium library with implicit weights, so you can customize the prompt as you want. You can also say, hey, please write it in a page object pattern style or something like that. Yeah, so you are very free with the prompt. And it depends a bit on the model, how good it is as in interpreting this prompt. But let's look at a quick recording. We can do some live stuff afterwards. But like I said, I wanted to have one small success. So what happens in the MCP if we send some prompt to it? Right now here we have VSCode. On the right-hand side, you can see...
Can you zoom in, please, a bit?
Oh, no,
so
is it too small? Okay,
Control plus or so.
Yeah, this is with the video. This is tricky, you know.
Okay. No. Then forget it. Then I can.
Yeah,
I think it's better
Hmm?
if you go down.
Okay, I will just zoom
you
out
zoom
again.
out again.
Okay. Okay, so I will just I will show the configuration in a moment again.
Yeah.
But let's just quickly run this scenario here. So right button. Okay, so we start by taking this prompt here, and I put it into the chat. And now the agent, so Copilot, will start running. It will start calling the analyze scenario tool and figures out this is some web scenario, and then it will recommend some libraries and also check if those libraries are available. So it briefly mentions it will use browser or open a browser and navigate to the source demo site. So it will now start executing the steps. And you can see here, so the browser window is already opening. Here we have the login page. And now that the page is open, it will call a tool get page source. Yeah, so this will get the DOM tree of the page so we can actually see the elements there. And after that, it will continue entering the login details, yeah, standard user and the password. And now that we are here on the shopping page, it will again get the page source to see what's going on. And then it will start adding items to the shopping cart. Yeah, I did not give any specific description, so it will just grab some items. The Source Labs backpack and the bike light are now added to the cart. And then it will proceed. So it now has 3 items in the cart. It will do some assertion. And you can see it can also make mistakes. Yeah, so you can see some steps also have this red cross. That means something failed. But that's not a problem. Yeah, maybe a locator was wrong. It will just retry with another locator and then it works. Yeah. And the important thing is only the successful steps will be taken to the final test suite. Yeah. So the trials or the stuff that didn't work will just be ignored. Now it will continue. So it will do now the checkout, I think. So it's still showing the cart. Yeah, you see some steps fail. This is quite normal. And now it will proceed with the checkout here. So it will now then enter the first name and last name of the checkout page. So here we go. And then, yeah, this happens after 25 requests. VSCode will ask you if it shall continue or if something is wrong. So I just confirm to continue. And then, yeah, I think there's one more checkout page. And then the scenario is done. It still needs to click a finish button. I just scrolled down manually so you can see it. And that's it. Thank you for your order. So one last assertion is being done, and that's it. And now, well, it will now generate the final test suite for us. So there's a tool called Build Test Suite, which is called now. And this will just run through all of the executed steps, which are like objects in the MCP server, and will like build the proper robot framework test suite out of that. So excellent, completed. And here we are. So this is now the generated test suite. And as you can see in a second, this test suite is actually running. Yeah. So if I just click on the play button here, I'll just wait for the response to be completed. So if I click the play button here, it will actually start running the same test that it just created stepwise. I can see in the browser opening again. It's just a bit quicker as before. And that's it. So this is the basic usage of the MCP server once you have it set up in VSCode. René, I'm waiting for the sound effect.
Ah, sorry. Ah, damn it. I was
Okay.
I was completely forgot. But this was faked one. That was a video. There's
Yeah. It's good. We can look at real examples. Just a second. But okay, but let's proceed. No, this is again the same video, boring. Okay, so this was a fake example before, was recorded, but now we will switch to a real example. We will do something else now. We will do some refactoring. So let's assume that with this first example, we created a test suite, but maybe you thought the test suite is not exactly that nice. Yeah, so it has like a lot of low-level keywords which are being executed. And of course, we want to have nice readable test suites. So what if we do a prompt like that and ask it, hey, please use robot MCP to refactor our test suite into something nicer. Yeah. So let's give that a try. And I will run this now. I hope the environment is still running here. Failed to connect. I need to reload for a second. So I'm running the examples today on a code space on GitHub. Yeah, so I prepared a repo for that. I'm not sure I can maybe quickly send it to you, René, then you can also, I send it to the open space. Because
I can just do it so that, wait, how was it again? Yeah, actually, I don't know.
Yeah, okay. I put it in the Slack.
Yeah. But it's basically just in the repository, right?
Yeah, it's in a different. For the demo, I created a different repository for code space. In my other original repository, it's still in a branch and not in the main. So not in the main branch, the code space. So yeah, we will find a way to give it to you. Okay, so this is now the code space starting up again. For the people new to code spaces, so it's a pretty nice concept. I also just used it today. So it will allow you to run your development inside a container via GitHub. You can use VS Code inside your browser. And you can also have stuff like a proper desktop UI that you can connect to. Yeah. So when we run our examples, I know this desktop here is pretty wide, but when we run examples, we can actually see the browser and everything inside the desktop. This dev container is set up with everything we need for our demo with RF-MCP. It also has Daniel's robot code in there. Yeah, so everything's set up. And now we can just proceed where we stopped before with the refactoring. Now I need to find an ugly test suite. So here we are. So let's say this is the test suite which was now generated by the MCP on the first run. Yeah, so it works, but maybe it doesn't look that nice. So maybe we can just try to refactor it a little bit. So I will copy the prompt from the that I had before. Where is it? I did not copy it here. Sorry, just a second. This is debug. Let me quickly grab it from the presentation.
Maybe one question while you are searching, if you
Yeah.
are multitasking capable. Oh, when you execute it, I think maybe then I think it's a good time, because it anyway takes time, right?
Yeah, indeed. Let me quickly check one small thing. So I showed you before a screenshot of the MCP configuration in VS Code. So this is it, the mcp.json. Once you have configured your MCP server here, like I did with the robot MCP, you can start it from here directly. Yeah, so there's the start button. I quickly need to push. It will directly switch to running. You can click again on running, and then it will show you the log of the MCP server. And as I mentioned, once this thing here is shown, then it's ready to go. Oh, they changed the logo. Interesting. Okay, so
actually, I had some issues when I tried it first with my virtual environment configuration. For some reasons. So the MCP used basically the global environment, but I had a virtual environment here in VS Code. So, and this is a good thing. It directly told me here, for example, it could not find a robot framework or stuff like that, or could not find browser library things. Or I think it actually said it cannot find RF-MCP while it was starting or so. So this is a good thing where you can look in the console if something's going sideways, and you can start kind of figuring out what's wrong.
Yeah, good point. I was just checking the repo and looking if I have an example with a virtual environment here. I don't. I just have a hint here. Hey, make sure you're running it from the virtual environment. When your project.
But it basically works. So I could just follow the instructions on your page, and I could just use it. So all good.
That's good to hear. So let's quickly try this prompt, and this will take quite a moment. Yeah. So I'm asking it to refactor. I'm asking explicitly for a resource file that shall be created with reusable keywords, and that each step should be executed separately. Yeah, so this might take a while. So let's run it and then have some discussion or make some fun of it if it fails. I'm not sure. So let's see. Let's at least see what it does in the beginning. So it reads our current robot framework test suite, and then it will again run through some of the tools like the analyze scenario. And it will now be very similar to the run before. It will now actually run it stepwise again. But in the back of its head, I would say more or less, it's already planning to create reusable keywords. Yeah, so it will re-execute the low-level keywords again, but later it will create like a resource file that can also be imported by the MCP. So the MCP also has tools to import resource files or Python libraries. Yeah, so you can also create custom Python libraries or custom user keywords as resources, which can then be imported and used by the MCP. Yeah. So yeah, now it's running. Let's see what it does. I hope it gives us some nice.
Yeah, while it's running, I think I can ask. I mean, one question that I had myself. So I have now installed this almighty MCP server, and does that now have access to all my system and all my repositories? And could the AI search my computer, or how is it working?
So this is not a matter of the MCP, but a matter of the AI agent. So in the AI agent, like in GitHub Copilot or in Claude Code or in Codex, you define what commands shall be approved and what not. Yeah. So there you define what it can modify. Also, when you do it in GitHub Copilot for the first time, when it calls a new tool, it will also ask you for approval, and it will ask you like, hey, approve this only this time or approve it always. Yeah. So those tool calls are each confirmed.
Okay, this is just a timing thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So this was just the 25 requests or tool calls. I just had to say continue. So this is why this pop-up came up. And for the file system, this is typically done per agent. What the agent may modify.
Yeah. Okay, we have one question here from Moby, and I have to wait a second. Move you at the top, maybe like this. So so beside the regular chat, have you used chat modes too? I know Playwright MCP comes with several of chat mode examples.
No, I haven't. I'm working on something with the examples, which I can also show in a second, because I wanted to avoid that people need to like retype this whole big prompt for every time, like for test creation or for refactoring. So I have some prompt templates which can be called, and I can show that. I'm not sure if this is the direction that maybe would help Mobi. Yeah. So my idea would be that you can create different prompt templates for different things like refactoring or running and so on.
Yeah, I mean, Playwright already has these kind of predefined agents. For example, create a test plan, or that could be here, for example, we could have a predefined agent refactor my atomic test case to be keyword driven and have kind of some context inside. So we could prepare an agent prompt specifically for the best practice of keyword driven testing, right? Because the situation of low level keywords we will have very often. Always, basically, when you start with something new, you have these low level, and then you refactor them to higher level stuff, right?
Yeah, sure. And I think it would be a good thing to come up with good templates or prompt templates for different use cases. Yes, I think similar, this is done by Playwright, because I think each agent there that you have in the recent releases also have a very specific prompt, like what it should do, how it should act. And I think we could maybe come up with something similar. But maybe one major difference is, so this is just a single agent we have here. Yeah, I'm not sure how Playwright does it with the multiple agent approach, if there is something different, but this is just a single Copilot agent.
Okay, I have another question.
Yeah.
If you're up for it.
Yeah, sure.
Mani, to also show how to use the recorder and pass that to RF-MCP. I already tried configuring RF-MCP in VSCode, and that worked fine. But knowing this would be helpful too.
A recorder? You mean like a recorder to record tests?
Maybe the Playwright recorder and feed that to like the result to RF-MCP.
Yeah. No, so this is not an option.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, there was. Oh, let's see. Maybe the future brings something.
Yeah, I have something at the end. This is not exactly a recorder, but maybe this is also a bit helpful. Yeah, but let's quickly proceed with the refactoring stuff. And okay. So now the refactoring is complete. It has also done a dry run. It reports there's some issue with the validation. I'm not sure if this is really an issue. And now this is maybe not so nice. It now tries to execute a bash command here to run the test suite.
Okay.
Unfortunately, VS Code doesn't know that I'm using UV here, so it tries to run a normal Python. So I will say skip it, and I will just say, hey, please use UV run to run Python commands. I'm not sure what it's up to right now. Maybe just wants to run.
So you can interact while it's still running, or do you have to interrupt it?
I can interrupt it.
I mean,
right
at the moment now, where you're saying like use UV run, can you send this already? No, you can. You have to stop it and then send more, right?
Yeah. Right now, what I did, I just said skip because it wanted to like do some other bash command call, and I said, hey, skip, don't do that. And yeah. So I'm not sure what it's doing. So this is the fun of live demos. So what I will do now, it's wanting to install Robot Framework Browser, which is silly because it's already there. But this is now the AI agent's
Wait a second.
fault.
There is. I have something for that. So sometimes you have to kind of stop it. I already yesterday told Manny that I had this experience with Claude, where it was kind of an infinity loop, and then was painting class graphs in ASCII art, and then making more and more. And I said, okay, come on, stop, go back to the top and start all over again. So I think this is something where you typically would kind of interrupt it and say, okay, wait here. Exactly. Let's start maybe with what you have already, and we see there's already a refactoring happening, so we could have an intermediate result, and that's a good thing, I think, as well, right? We get several steps, and on the way we already get some artifacts, and we can then stop it and say, okay, I'm good with that situation. Now let's start from there, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I have the feeling maybe it even will work. Yeah. So what I will just do now, not sure what even failed. I will now just try to run the refactored suite that was generated. Yeah, because this right now is already the refactored test suite. Yeah. It's referring to a resource file which was also generated, the one here. Yeah. So this is. Oh, sorry. Now it jumped back again. Yeah. So it took now this typical. No, it's not a page object pattern, is it? No, not really. But something similar. Yeah, it used a lot of variables now to store data and stuff, and has those meaningful keyword names that now were created. And now let's just quickly see if it works or not. I'm not sure. What was the one again? This one. So let's just give it a try and run it. Yeah. So let's see.
So the chat is hot at the moment. There are discussions happening already.
Okay.
So we
Okay,
are
so
at.
I can see.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. We can just see the scenarios are running here. Yeah, it's now very quick. Even for play, this is like Selenium, I think, right now. But even then, it's very quick. Yeah, so all the scenarios were passed. Yeah, so I'm not sure what this issue was that was reported, but the files were actually running, and now they look much nicer, I would say. So shall we go back to questions, or shall I proceed first?
No, I
with
think we have a lot of questions and comments. So there's one thing. I think it's a nice pitch for the future. I have used the modes, the chat modes, to have it run a test with a flag for stopping in with debug mode in the test teardown. So I think the debugging you will show later as well as an idea how to also make it a little bit more interactive, right?
Yes, that's what I will actually do next. Yeah. So once the questions are answered, I will show you a bit
But
about the debugging.
you need to do my non-faked one.
Okay. What do you have, Rene? What do you want me to automate?
Okay. Maybe you can write. Go to robocon.io. Go to the ticket sales. Go to the full ticket. Select a full ticket, including workshop. Put it into your basket. Go to checkout, and see if you can go next to the or verify that you cannot go next to the, how do you say, personal data without selecting a workshop.
Okay.
So
Yeah, let's do the following. You type the
Yeah.
prompt into the chat. Yeah, and I will proceed with the
I will
other
do that.
stuff, and then we will increase the Robocon sales at the end of this session.
Yes.
Which credit card shall I enter? Yours or Mika's?
No, you can use yours. I think it's
okay.
fine.
Okay,
Or it can just tell him it should use a valid one.
Right. There must be so many credit cards out there on
Yeah,
GitHub.
some credit card
We'll
details on
find
GitHub.
something.
GitHub should be there. Yeah. Okay. What would happen if this instruction did not explicitly state to check each step again? Would it then hallucinate?
I think no, it wouldn't. Honestly, it wouldn't matter. Typically, it will go into the execute step mode automatically when I ask it to write or create something. Yeah.
The thing is, I think the system prompting of the MCP, you did not tie it to a very, very narrow scope, right? For this, we, for example, could create some different agent kind of templates or preparations that we say, okay, we have an agent for explicitly doing that as kind of a already, how do you say, primed situation. But at the moment, you could also ask the MCP something else that is not involving executing step by step. So
sure.
if you want that scenario, you have to tell it to the MCP at the moment. So that was the question from Simon. That's why he's using that.
Yeah, okay. The thing is, so it depends on the model if it will automatically also use the MCP server. Some models, for some reason, try to solve such a prompt differently. So in VS Code, and I'm sure in other coding tools as well, you can also explicitly mention the MCP. Yeah, so this is why I put this hashtag robot MCP in some prompts to just say, hey, use this MCP server to solve this problem. Yeah. So this might help. In the beginning, I did not do that, but once I learned about this feature, I'm just using it in the prompts.
Okay.
We
also have a question from Adam. Are you trying to create robot framework tests in natural language, which is not natural language, but but you want to do it by describing them in natural language? So I think he's a little bit pointing maybe because it's not just like the test description is not natural language. But I think the idea here is you don't necessarily need all the ways and the solutions and the selectors by yourself. You can just describe what to do. But the good thing is you don't need the AI while running. So like your natural communication with the MCP leads to an actual created source code, right? Yep. So this is this is the idea.
Exactly. My goal is I want to enable especially newcomers or people maybe not so experienced or people who just want to save time, just use this MCP and create good and valid robot framework test suites out of it. Yeah. So that's the idea. Now I what did I wanted to do next? So
I can ask you another question. Can you instruct it to split it into better named keywords?
Yes. Yeah, I think this depends on the prompt. Yeah, we can do it, but it will take a bit of time. But you can do a lot with the prompt just alone. This is no problem. Now I remember what I wanted to show, because there was this question also regarding the prompts, and I mentioned the templates that exist. Now, in an MCP server, you can also define a so-called prompt. I'm not sure if it was prompt, but something that you can directly call from an agent like manually. Yeah, so my prompt is called automate. It's now pretty small here. So MCP, robot MCP automate. And now, oh no, wait. No, I just clicked one time too much. When I now select it, there's this pop-up here in VSCode. It asks me for a value for the scenario. And now what I can do, I can just write the steps that shall be done by the MCP server. Yeah. So open, what was it? RoboCon.io, right? What did you say? Book a ticket?
Go to ticket booking and select a full ticket.
Okay, ticket booking. Select a full ticket. So if I just enter it and now hit enter, so what it will do, it will now create this bigger context here around my original prompt, because my original prompt is only the stuff here below, the scenario. Yeah. But what it will do, it will give some detailed instructions to the agent. It says, hey, use robot MCP to create a test suite and use it stepwise, run it stepwise. Use the analyze scenario tool to do this. Use recommend libraries to do that. So just as an additional help to the agent, just in case that it cannot figure out the right tool usage, you can also do this as part of the prompt. And I think in the future, I would develop more of those templates, which would help people in different situations. I will run this one at the end. Yeah, René, I just quickly want to do the debugging stuff. Okay. So there was this comment about debugging. So let's quickly look at the debugging thing. So it's possible to stop the execution of a test suite at any point, and then run like a debug session using the MCP server. So I created an example here, debug, which will just show the basic concept. So to do that, what you need to do is you need to add this MCP server as a library here to your test suite, because there's actually a keyword called MCP serve or MCP start, which will start this debugging mode. There's some additional data that you need to provide, like a token value, because this will now expose an HTTP session to which you can, or to which you can connect, and this token is just to protect this session. Yeah. So when I later connect to it, I'm using the token again, just making sure not everyone from the outside can connect. It's all on your laptop, of course. It's nothing outside on the internet, but this is just to make sure. So what we now have in this test suite is we just open a browser in the beginning with Selenium. And then I use this MCP serve keyword, which will interrupt the execution. And then I can interact with the open application. So I will just run this test case here. So I will also open here the desktop view so we can hopefully see that the browser will be opened to robotframework.org. Let's see. Takes a moment, but okay. So now this is done. And now in the log, I see something here saying, hey, this debug bridge is now active. It's blocking the execution, so it will stop right now. And to stop it, I need to call the tool attach stop bridge. Yeah, so this will stop the debug bridge. But while the debug bridge is running, I can interact now with my robot framework session. I can say, hey, use robot MCP to get me the page source, and I don't know what are we interested in, and give me some, I don't know, locators. I don't know what else to do.
What about the accessibility DOM or the accessibility hint?
Yeah, you mean the new ARIA snapshot from browser? Yeah. Right now, this example is unfortunately Selenium, but otherwise,
okay.
You're right. Yeah. Damn.
Yeah, beginner's mistake.
Okay, let's see. I hope this is now. Why it's now running? This is now the new demo problem again. Now it's for some reason it's opening a new browser, what it's not supposed to do. And instead, oh gosh, why is it running the Source Labs suite? Is there some shared context with the chat here? Yeah, let's retry again. René, you can play the sound again. So let's see. I will just close the browser.
Maybe because the browser was already open.
Yeah, maybe this was a bit messed up with my session, which was already open. So let's close this
better using Playwright sessions. They are always closing.
Am I stupid? Why cannot I close this one? And Selenium always maximizes.
Can you click this square to at the top right to make it in a new tab?
This one?
No, higher in VSCode in the line
okay,
that one. Yeah.
Okay, I know what you mean. Yeah. I'm not sure if I can do.
No, on the right side there is this square with the arrow going out a little bit lower.
Sorry.
Not there.
This one.
This one, yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, maybe with a full browser window, this is better.
And now you can close it or move it down. I think you have to move it down a little bit because.
Am I silly? Where is
it? You see?
Okay. Yeah, it was bigger than the desktop. Okay. Well, I was very confused for a moment. Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah, the AI as well.
Yeah.
It was also confused. By the way, in between, can you briefly say which libraries are supported right now? Because we have the question if and already twice if you can actually automate Windows UIs.
So no, Windows is not yet supported. So I'm waiting until like the awesome Platin UI is a bit further with some assertion keywords. And then I think it would be great to include the Platin UI there for desktop automation. Or maybe this is a time for Daniel. Do you think this would be a good idea, maybe to add Platin UI?
Yes, you can add Platin UI. How should I call it? One of the main problems is UI automation for desktop automations is a little bit slower than. So the HTML document in the web browser is already there, and for UI automation, we need to collect all the possible elements. So that's the only
But I think
small pitfall. I
yeah,
think.
but I think the kind of
The-
slowness here is anyway there due to the LLM. So the LLM is thinking a lot, and even if a single
yeah,
step execution takes 5 seconds, you will not figure out the difference here. I mean, in the agent mode.
yeah. So one of my topics for the workshop on a Robocon we want to make together is showing like this with Platin UI.
Also, maybe as one information, there is this Robot Framework SAP library, RoboSapiens, and that already has kind of some technologies internally to create a UI map. And Madog has already started working on contributing to the RF-MCP to actually for the method that we have in the MCP implement the corresponding APIs for RoboSapiens so that you can use sub UI client also with MCP.
Yeah.
So
I will try to add some contribution guide how it works if you integrate a new UI library into the MCP. At the moment, there are some modifications that need to be done that are not so nice. For example, with every UI desktop library, you need some way to get also the application state. So like the UI map that you mentioned. Yeah. So this is mandatory because otherwise the agent cannot see the application. Via screenshots, you cannot do so much. Yeah. So this is something which needs to be there. Some way, a command line tool or a keyword or something that we can use to retrieve this UI map. Yeah. And then there would need to be some modifications to be done to the get page source keyword in the MCP. But it shouldn't be too much work. Yeah. A lot of libraries work out of the box with the MCP. Yeah. So if you want to use I don't know, JMS library or something like that, you can just use it without any extensions. Yeah. So this is also possible.
yeah, and I think this question here fits into that. Can MCP and the library take in account existing high-level keywords in a project and reuse them, for example, based on documentation? So can it, for example, if I tell him, hey, I have the following resource file, and add the resource file to the chat context, can it read that resource file?
Yes. Yeah.
Or other libraries?
Yeah, so the resource file can already be read by the Copilot agent or by any other agent. So the file system access is there anyway. And the MCP server also has a tool to import a resource. So it can import a resource file into the robot framework execution context and then execute the keywords from there. Yeah. So this is all possible. Yeah. I heard from some community members that they refactored also their test code base using the MCP. Yeah. So I think this also means that this can be used in reality.
A few more questions in the queue. The one thing is, for example, are you aware of any integration in PyCharm IDE?
So I think, for example, GitHub Copilot also exists for PyCharm. They have an extension. I'm just not sure if MCP servers are supported, but it would surprise me if it's not, or if it would take that long, because what I saw recently, whatever stuff came to the VSCode extension, after some while also came to PyCharm. And I'm pretty sure there are a lot of other coding agents that you can use besides Copilot.
So PyCharm has their own Copilot-like extension. I don't know the name.
Okay.
Something like with J or something. And you can also add MCP servers, so it should be possible.
Then it should be possible. All right. So I quickly want to come back to this debug example that we started some minutes ago. So I now noticed my mistake in the prompt. I need to tell it to use the debug bridge to connect and then do stuff. Yeah. So after that, it picked up the connection. So it calls the keyword attach status to see if the connection to this debug bridge is there. And then it can run tool calls like get page source, and also tool call for some locator guidance, how to use browser library locators. Yeah, so I also have a tool call for that to get some information about browser library, how to use it. and then it gives me the results, and it suggests me like, hey, what type of locators are on robotframework.org. And this is now in real time. I can now also say, hey, please click on, I don't know, click on get started. So I can say, please click on get started. Maybe get started link. Maybe I just give it some more information. Let's see how that works. So executes the step. It's already taking a bit too long for my taste, but let's see.
Yeah, it's doing the 10 seconds because it doesn't find it, I would say.
Yes, right. Okay, now I see also the mistake that the agent did. So this is actually Selenium library, the example. But for some reason, it now got the locator help for browser library. So of course, the browser library locators are different.
That happens
than
if you
the
install
Selenium library
both.
locators.
So don't do install all.
So most likely it will now get some error and then maybe correct it. Let's see.
Yeah. Actually, what's pretty nice, I mean, this is a feature that that works with the MCP, because the MCP has knowledge or can get knowledge about libraries that are existing, and that ties into a comment that we also have. Wait a second. I think here. Does the RF-MCP has to be prepared for each library you want to use? No, it does not. So MCP has a technology, or has a tool to use libdoc to inspect any kind of library. So if you just tell it a specific library name that you have, and you say, okay, can you please inspect the following robot framework library with the name my super awesome library, it will use that, and then it will generate the library documentation of that. It will read it, and then you can also ask stuff for it. So you could, for example, say, okay, can you please read the library documentation of the following thing? There's if you're using robot code and the RF-MCP, theoretically the chat could use both technologies, because also robot code has tools, these AI tools, to give the Copilot chat the possibility to inspect libraries. So, but in any case, the AI could get the information of your currently locally installed library, and then you can ask questions about that as well. So, as an example, I ask. So I had browser, of course, installed, browser library, the playwright-based thing, and then I said, okay, can you please check the browser library keyword documentation and tell me how I can select iframes? Because maybe I'm transferring from Selenium library to browser library or from anything else, but I don't find the select iframe keyword, and it took some time. Then it read it through and said, yeah, that's no problem. You can have this piercing selector, which uses these 3 arrows, or you can use the selector prefix to select the iframe and so on. So it was completely right, because it just read in the documentation and gave me the correct answer. So you can also use it as a chat, just as said. So you do not necessarily need, for these purposes, these kind of asking stuff, not necessarily the MCP, but with the MCP, you could also then ask, okay, can you then give me the selector of the following element or so?
Yeah, I think, like you said, so you can use the libraries out of the box. I try to use proper robot APIs to get like the library documentation, keyword documentation. You only need to customize the MCP if your library has some kind of application state that it keeps, or that it wants to, how to say, get something from the application that you maybe cannot get via a normal keyword call. I would say more or less you can use most of the libraries with it directly. Yeah. I mean, even with the browser library and Selenium library, I mean, both have a keyword also to get the page DOM. Yeah. So even without doing some customization in the MCP, I could also say, hey, please get the page DOM always via this keyword. And then it would also directly run. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say just be optimistic, just give it a try. Yeah. I had some examples where it worked out of the box with new libraries.
We just to that topic also
Mhm.
got the question from Tatu. Is there a plugin API for RF-MCP? So if I have a company library and I would like to kind of give the MCP this correct APIs to my library to do that, if it's not shareable.
Yeah, this is something I would also like to work on next, to have some kind of plugin interface that you can easily connect new libraries and also like tell it, hey, to get the application state, use this keyword or that keyword. Yeah. So to make it more configurable and more maintainable without code changes. Yeah. So this
Yeah.
would definitely the goal for the
And
next quarter.
I looked a bit into your code. No offense, please,
Yeah.
or at least not intended. At the moment, it's not really that kind of generically modularized. You in your code, you're basically doing the decisions. Okay, is it web? Then you can either use browser or Selenium. Is it something else? Maybe you can use Appium and stuff like that, right? So
Yeah.
there are some decision makings directly.
Yeah.
But I think this would be also an opportunity of contribution. So if you
Sure.
know Python and if you have an idea how to generalize Robot Framework Library API to be used by RF-MCP, I think that would be a very cool thing, that you just say, okay, we need some information gathering APIs. We need, so for example, like get information over your test object, like which tables are existing for the database library and so on. So we need the information gathering thing. We need the, I don't know, what kind of tools do the libraries offer, or does the library need to offer to the MCP money?
So the first most important thing is a good documentation. So this is
Okay.
nothing about features, but really having good documentation with examples, with explanations about the arguments, because this is all that the MCP server gets. And I've seen with some libraries which are easier to use than others. Yeah. So for example, also no offense, in the requests library, there's also some keyword documentation. But in some keywords, it's more like, yeah, it has the same arguments as this get keyword. Yeah, check there for details. Yeah, and some other things which were not so helpful to the MCP. So I had to put in some extra knowledge in the MCP. For example, how to get the JSON object from a response and stuff like that. Yeah, so the better the documentation is, I think the less we need to like customize in the MCP. And for the other things the library needs to offer, so as I said, if it's some kind of UI automation thing, there needs to be a keyword to retrieve the UI map. Yeah, so
But I
this
mean,
would be good.
wouldn't that also be for API or databases? So, for example, I mean, you could also just say, okay, these are the keywords that you may use to get the available tables and the available fields in tables. Or does the MCP already know intrinsically because it can just use SQL to do that stuff? Or is it something that you kind of implemented, for example, explicitly, or at least told the MCP for information gathering, you can use these 4 keywords or so?
Yeah, so this is also something I added to the MCP, like as a quick hint. Yeah, so for example, when a library is recommended in the tool recommend libraries, in the response, I also like return the most important keywords already. Yeah, or if there's an error in a keyword, like the execute step fails, I also put in some hints in the response. So if it's not like a total exception, this hint will still be there and maybe guide the agent to do the right thing. And this is also something I'm still improving. I need to watch what it does wrong and then try to put something in the response to put it back on track, yeah, so that it does the right thing afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So with the debugging, yeah, now I stopped now the command. Yeah, for I think the session is somehow gone. Maybe we can do that later again. Yeah, but I want to show one final thing to end the session because we are way over time already. Yeah, and then maybe we can play around with it a bit more.
People are
So
still fully engaged. We don't have a
okay,
drop-in audience, so
yeah,
I
that's
think
good.
they are
Yeah.
hanging on your lips. So
Then I'm happy. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to show is the front end. I have some screenshots, but I can also show it for real. So the front end is something which is currently only in a dev branch. So I need to go to my real RF-MCP repo to show that. And the code space is again ended, so I need to reopen it again. And then we can have a look at the front end. So
I think at that point I will share a link actually. So if anyone wants to join for the Q&A and the discussion, maybe I will share that link. I will share it in the Slack, where we also posted the YouTube one. So I just posted it there. I can also try to actually post it in the YouTube one. Let me just see if it goes through. Yeah, it does looks good. So I think you can click it. So if you want to be part of the discussion, I think we will when Mani is done with his UI demonstration. We of course have Daniel also here. You can continue asking questions. Maybe Daniel can also talk a little bit about the AI tools in robot code. And of course, we can have a on-stage discussion here about the AI and maybe what's coming up with the AI agent support in Robot Framework, Playwright, and so on. Yeah.
All right.
I think, yeah, Daniel, can you still mute yourself? Or you have some kind of background noise, actually.
I have background noise.
Yeah, some kind of really like noise, Rauschen.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good noise for sleeping. This white noise.
It's a white noise.
White noise. No.
Okay, but Mani, first, can you start? Can you do your UI thing if it's working,
sure.
or and then we can open the discussion.
Yes, sure. So I'm just showing the UI feature. So to use the UI, I will merge it into the main branch in the next days and do a next release. But to use it, we need to pass some environment variables to the MCP, which can also be done here directly in the MCP file. So add some variables to enable the MCP front end, an host, so a server, an IP for the front end, and a port. Yeah. And once I do that, and when I start the MCP server with those settings, there will be a front end which is exposed. So I will quickly open it here in a full browser. Right now it's empty, so there's not much to see. But now let's, oh wait, there was still something loading, but okay, still empty. However, now I can like start interacting with the MCP. So I'll just run some example prompt from before. Just the same source demo stuff, doesn't matter, yeah. And what we can now then see is it will start processing the commands, do analyze scenario. And while it does, I can maybe open the front end and see what's going on there. So I can do a refresh. I can now see there's a session, a web session using browser running Firefox. It should be Selenium, already a bug, I think.
It's a feature.
Yeah, indeed. So I can then see in real time what steps are being executed by the MCP. The open browser typically needs a moment because it's kind of, I don't know, slow. And afterwards, it will proceed now with the stuff as before. It will execute the steps one by one. And while it does, I can refresh and I can already see what the generated robot framework test suite would look like. Yeah, so I can already see here what is going to be generated. If I refresh here, I can also see the keywords which were executed so far. I can also drag them around if I want. Yeah, this will also be reflected in the regenerated suite here. I can disable steps or edit them. Yeah. So the idea is to have some kind of interface which will allow you to change stuff, but which is still in sync with the MCP server. Yeah. So everything I do here will also be reflected by the MCP server. So when the final test suite is generated, it will then consider the order that I have here. Yeah. I think it's a nice thing to play around with. some reason the refresh is now not working. Maybe some environment problem, yeah. But it's just some other way to look what's going on in the MCP. I think it's a nice to have thing. At the moment, it's also an optional dependency. So once it is merged into the main and the new release is created, this is still optional. So there's an optional extra package and also the parameter to start the front end. Yeah. So don't be afraid that there will be this front end exposed automatically. It's only on demand. Yeah. But yeah, maybe some nice thing to play around. I could imagine like a window with screenshots as well, or the browser window. I don't know. I think we can do something nice with the front end. But yeah, I think this pretty much, would say close my session. Just have some summary for the end about RF-MCP. So let me quickly go back to the slide.
So again, I posted a joining link in the chat. So if you wish to have a discussion with us, just join. And then I can put you on stage. You're not directly on stage. You're first in the green room, and then I can put you on stage when you're there and when we are there at the point. So you can already now join.
Yeah, let's see. Hopefully someone will join. Page, yeah, so just the link to my repo with the install commands. So supporting Selenium, browser library, and Appium at the moment, and request library. I also mentioned here database, but to be honest, I need to add some tests for that. Yeah, so sorry, it's if the database library support is not fully there yet, but I will add it in the future. And yeah, hopefully we will look at some more desktop automation. I still mention here Java Swing as a future, but I think Platin UI would be nice to include that as well, and as well as RoboSapiens. And then one thing, I need to look into more complex web pages with iframes. I'm not sure if this already works out of the box. So this is also something which will be improved in the future. A lot of things to do, but I need feedback. Yeah. So if this presentation maybe helped you to get started with the MCP, it would be great to give me some feedback if stuff works, and even more important, if stuff does not work. Yeah. So we can further improve this one.
Absolutely. And if you're really interested and want to chat with Mani about that, you can also do that on Slack. So if you go to robotframework.org and then go to the community section, you will find the Slack channel, which is free to join. And you can also go to the forum, and you can join Robocon, of course. There we can also have a workshop. We also have back in the green room Richard Ludwig, and yeah, Gervin just said, great, thanks for your work so far and sharing this experience with us, Mani. It's always nice to see people using new technologies with our favorite tool. Like, have to
Thank you.
have to fully agree that. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. So, Richard, I will also pull you on stage. If you want to open your camera, you can, but you don't have to. So, I don't know, Daniel, do you or are you able to also maybe show a little bit this AI tools? Daniel, you have to unmute yourself.
Yes. Richard, can you mute your mic, maybe?
Oh, I have.
Yeah, you have. Okay, no, it's a little bit better. Yes, let me show a little small. I have some. Maybe I switch to the other keyboard.
Yeah, Richard, wait a second. So, Richard, you can also ask a question if you have a question. So now I think it's also... And Kelby is there. Hello to the US.
So, I can share my screen?
Yes.
Yes, I will share my...
But shall we do the questions first? So was there like a question
I
from
can check. Is
Richard?
there another question? No, there's just the comment from Gervin.
Okay, good.
So I think no more questions that we didn't yet answer.
All right, good.
Question for me would be,
Oh, maybe your mic
Yeah, I
setting
think
is
this
not
is
so.
Richard. We basically just hear a lot of background noise and not much of what you are talking.
Maybe the wrong audio device connected.
Maybe.
Or wrong
And
microphone.
now Daniel is sharing screen, which is super huge.
Which is super huge.
I
That's
mean,
why I
super low
always
or high resolution,
start.
actually. Yeah.
Yeah. This is a high resolution, but that's not a problem. So I will make it a little bit bigger. Too big, maybe. So if you are working, when I do this one, yes. Okay. Now let's see. This is just a simple empty dummy project. So let's close all things here. Okay. If you installed the Robot Code, have installed the Robot Code extension, then you should also have, if you open the tools window here, the Robot Code extension with some first AI extensions. That's the point. So I can use this comments here in my chat, and I can ask with the robot. What was it? Robot code? Okay, there is no real name for my extension. I can ask what robot framework version I use in this project, and hopefully it finds out. So no workspace folder found. Please open the robot framework project. Why? Okay, because there is a bug. I need to switch to the window. Why this is? I thought I fixed the bug already, so I need to switch to another open folder. No, I will close this window. I will open a new window. Sorry, there is a bug. If you have any other questions in the meantime, then
Yeah, I think we got one. I think there's this one here. So been using this for a month now, paired it with Jira MCP. Robot Framework can generate automated test cases for the Jira ticker with the help of AI, and it also debugged the test for me using MCP. Okay,
Oh,
nice.
wow, interesting. Create a Robocon talk about that.
Yeah,
Maybe you
yeah.
can
It's
still take some talks.
unfortunately too late now
Oh, no,
for
yeah.
making Robocon talks. They are all kind of in. We are nearly done having them all selected, but we have a good lineup already.
Okay, it's because I am not.
So now you are again on stage.
No, again. Okay, so I need to set up a small init robot framework project.
Yeah, no, it directly worked on my side. I just asked it. So how do you do iframes? And it just answered correctly.
Framework. So now it should work. There was a bug. So AI demo. That's okay. And let's see if the.
But the good thing is we now see the robot framework version, so you don't need to ask anymore.
Yes, I know. UV. You see the robot
Yeah.
framework
You
version.
see,
Yeah.
now with AI, we only need 10 minutes to ask for the robot framework version. What an improvement! Woo!
Now it is there. So the point is that it's not only the robot framework version. So now it should work. So some words about these different LLM models and whatever. Try it out. The point is, these models cost money. This not, and you can also have your own models here with different whatever from Copilot, Anthropic. What I sometimes do is this open router thing. In open router, you can put some money, maybe $20 or so, and you can play along so long that the the $20 are empty, and you can play with whatever models. So you can play with the Anthropic models and the OpenAI models, and they're all the
So they,
Chinese
they
models. And
distribute
so,
basically the money, so you don't have to decide where
yes,
you put money or put
yeah,
5 euros on multiples. Okay, yeah.
yeah. So you don't need to have an account for OpenAI and Anthropic and Perplexity and whatever. This is just so that's what I sometimes do. And mostly I use the GPT or also the GPT-5 codex thing for developing. The codex thing doesn't talk too much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does not invent things that you never wanted. So just strictly do what you want and not asking about, I can do a lot of other things if you
Yeah,
wish.
and therefore it's also cheaper regarding the token. So it
Yeah,
says also one time. So there are some models which are like 3 times more expensive or so. Codex also one time, but for that one time expense, you get a very lower consumption or some consumption of tokens.
yeah.
And
So,
by the way, just as an example, Mani, I don't know what are your experience. For example, I had the situation with Claude 4 and browser library. It seems to work better than 4.5. So, for example, with Claude 4, it came up with better selectors. I had a web page as an example where we had multiple items to select. These items have actual names, so you can also click directly on the names on the labels, but these items also have IDs. But the IDs is just like item 1, item 2, item 3, item 4. They have no context whatsoever. And for example, Claude 4.5 always used the ID as a selector. I don't know why, but Claude 4 saw, okay, there is a label. I will use that label. So I at the moment, sometimes it's kind of a little bit impressive of what it can do. At the same time, I have often the feeling that it's more like a modern capture replay. Like it's a new capture replay. It also just creates some usable stuff, but you actually have to know what you are doing to then refactor it or sort out the bullshit and also realize when it's going in the wrong direction and stopping it and say, okay, no, forget it here. But I think at the same time, it's a good sparrings partner.
Yeah. And I think regarding the locators, I mean, of course, you can prompt it to use like specifically the text locators. I think you also tried that, right? Did that solve it or not really?
I told it to use labels.
Okay.
Yeah, not sure. I mean, it used then some, but it was still not very good.
Okay.
so just to show it, I asked GPT-5, and he just created a lot of to-dos. Checked this Pi project for get installed report, and he looked at the Pi project terminal. He calls the robot framework, the robot code tools, and whatever. That's one point. And then we got this answer here. If I go to the GPT codex and I ask the codex thing, I'm not sure if he just ask the AI and give you the version. But I can also ask if he and which Robocop version so Robocop isn't installed. Nothing. So this is because we can install it, yes. So let's add Robocop UV add robot framework Robocop, and then let's reload the window, and then ask a little bit different. Now, what I switched the keyboard. It's completely how I can. What is in this robot framework project? Install it. Which versions of robot and robot code and Robocop we use, something like this. So this is just a small thing, gathering informations, and you should get all these informations. Okay, let's install the browser library. UV at what is it? Robot framework. Browser, do I need to install these browser tools things? No, browser.
You can just use browser batteries. Then everything is done already.
Browser
Dash batteries.
minus batteries.
Yeah, there's batteries included. So then you have all the stuff that you need. And if you just want to use Chrome, you don't need to install anything else.
Okay, so and then I say here library browser. So which libraries are used in this file? So here you must add a context. This is a little bit cursive, italic written. This means it is not in the context. That's why the plus here.
So it's available. It's available to
available.
add. But you can also add other files, right? So you can just
just put it here.
drag and drop. So via drag and drop, okay.
So and you can ask. So I only included the browser library here. Hopefully, so identify is browser. So we need to ask the.
Can you, for example, now ask this, or what do you want to ask?
Ask your tools. So now he's retrieving the clarifying built-in library browser built-in, and here you have the built-in and the Easter egg libraries also included, because these are the built-in libraries. Sharing screen is requested. What does it say?
I don't know.
I don't know. So, and then you can ask, what can I do with the browser library. And then summarizing browser library. He asks here the browser library.
Yeah, these were the resources, and then
Yeah. So the name, but he only gets the things. So
can you, for example, ask? Can you do this question? But what I said. So like, how can I select an iframe or an element in an iframe with browser library?
yeah. Just wait. So this comes from the summarizing robot framework library. He does not call it from the so normally yeah. So normally he should ask the one point of the in VSCode you have chat shop participants. So if you open this one, you can ask Copilot or GitHub or Perplexity or whatever and talk with him. And this is a one feature that I want to implement it also for robot code. Then you can directly ask robot code. So at the moment I must write this use your tools thing here. And now he gets the information directly from the installed library, not from the saved whatever things in the LLM. Now it's from the library. And what's your question?
How do you select elements within an iframe with browser library?
How do you
select?
How do I select iframes within an what was it? Document?
I mean, an element in iframes, but you can also just ask, how can I select iframes in browser library?
Browser library. So, and then he should retrieve the
retrieve browser library details.
And then he writes this one. So, but you can ask translate.
But I mean, this for example, retrieving browser library details, robot framework library details. This is something that is coming from your tools as well, right?
Yeah.
Or is it MCP? No, it's your tools.
No, it's from my tools. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think we kind of have to wrap it up soonish.
So just some words. The first AI things in robot code are mainly about give me informations about the environment, the keywords that I use, and ask. You can translate the browser documentation. You can ask directly the keywords here and whatever. You can ask about your current environment. That's the point. So, and with the new things in my mind and on my to-do list, we should. I want to implement a chat participant that you can directly ask, and hopefully that's one thing. Also about robot code, robot framework documentation and such things. So I need to find a way to ask the robot the current version, the actual version of robot framework in such a chat. That's a little bit difficult and such things. So for my that was for my side. So
thank you very much. So I think that was already a lot. more like really trying it yourself, go to Money's repository. I can again, I think, add here this one. And can I? Yes, I can. This one. And so either you can, yeah, so there, wait a second. Why is it not? Oh, so I have to click this one. Sorry. So this is the RF-MCP there at the top there. You see there on top of Money. You can click this, or you can go to the AI agent, which is also something that Daniel made to make this AI tools for robot code possible, which will also be shown at RoboCon. So regarding RoboCon, I can again just recommend to go now to RoboCon.io, and let me briefly share my screen. So if you see here, add to scene. So if you go to robocon.io, you see we have the next upcoming conferences, 10th to 13th of February next year, and the online conference 3rd to 6th March. And yeah, we have already our sponsors there here also. And when you go to the information about why to attend, you see also the videos from last RoboCon, so you can get some nice impressions of how RoboCon normally works. It's a very nice conference. I can heavily recommend it to everyone who's working with Robot Framework or even is interested in Robot Framework. The on-site conference is really cool, super relaxed conference, very nice people all the time. And also the online conference is there, which is way cheaper, of course. By the way, as a kind of a pro tip, if you think you cannot really afford the online RoboCon, you always can contact us. Just write to info@robocon.io. Maybe you are at the moment searching a job, or you're a student, or you are of a country which has a lower kind of salary, and these, I'm not sure, 200 euros or so for the online one is, I think, the final price or so. If this is too much, we can give you a heavily discounted ticket, so that basically everyone can afford it. Just contact us and ask for this discounted ticket, and we welcome everyone there. So it should be possible that everyone can join. Yeah, that's it from my side. We are planning these kind of streams more often. Of course, we are always doing these open space things, but now also want to discuss with library maintainers how the new versions of the libraries work. For example, if a new Selenium library release or so comes out, we can discuss the new features. We had a live stream with Tatu Alto about the browser library, where we also added these browser batteries that you saw, so you don't need to have any Node.js installed anymore. I think I will link it somewhere here at the top as an ending link to the previous channel. And if you are a maintainer of a library, or you know someone, please contact us. Best, I think, would be in Slack, or you can also just reach us as the kind of the organizers of Robot Framework, RoboCon, and so on. If you just contact board@robotframework.org, you will reach the board members of the Robot Framework Foundation, which is the association behind Robot Framework. Money is also a board member. I'm a board member. So if you have any questions about the organization, conference, live streams, organizing Robot Framework, you may contact us. Please not with any user questions or so. You can use the Slack channel for that. Just write the question in public. You probably get it directly answered, or very soon. There is Jeff. Jeff, do you want to join and ask a question, a final question?
So I'm going to for the maybe I'm new. The modern to the knowledge to the robot framework.
Okay. So we are just wrapping it up. So it's kind of late to join, but nice to see you. And I would just say bye to everyone. Have a nice weekend, and hope to see many of you at RoboCon. And yeah, have a nice time. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.